Welcome to the People Chronicles. I'm Jackie Hoffman, and we're joined with Julie Stubler this afternoon. Julie, it's nice to have you with us.
Thank you, Jackie. I'm excited to be here.
We start off with our viewers, with our listeners, an answer to this question that is going to probably take route for the entire conversation, the interview. What is it that you want our listeners and viewers to learn from your story today?
Passion, education, and devotion.
Wow.
That has been the drive of my life since I was 7 years old. So those three things have been my master's degree in life.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
So she practiced this answer, obviously, because no one had an answer that good. I think in this past year, so she already won the award for best answer for our podcast question today. Now we're going to kind of go back a little bit of history and find out what it is that you do, your journey, and how you got to where you are today, which is quite a few years, but you're going to take us every step of the way. So Julie, tell us what you do.
I am a medical skincare professional, and I have a skincare practice with a medical doctor here in Berks County. So before that, I was a skincare instructor or a cosmetology instructor, and I found a niche in the skincare industry. And that's where I became so passionate about a subject that I knew nothing about, and a very difficult subject. And I found a way to embrace it and deliver the information as if I was teaching stupid people. And I mean no offense by that, but one of my mentors would always say, deliver the information as if your audience is stupid. And I really, would think, when I would think about what I'm trying to say, interpret it that everybody in my classroom could understand what I was trying to say.
And you have a point. Sense? Absolutely. Because when people try and explain something to me, I say, take it step by step, nice and slow, chapter by chapter. So this will be easy. And for those of you that can see, if you're watching this on video, Julie is not 16. She's not 20. She's not 25, 35. But tell everyone how old your children are, because that's really important, a part of your life, your family.
It is. I have 4 children. My youngest is 13. I have one daughter. She is 18, which means 28 in girl years. I have a 20-year-old son, and my oldest is a 22-year-old son as well. So 4 children and 3 adult children. So that's my PhD in life right there.
That's perfect. So how did you get where you are today with the life lessons that you've learned, and who helped you along the way get to where you are?
Such a great question. I think the interesting thing is life throws at you mentors that you don't realize that they're the ones that are going to embrace you, give you advice, tell you something you don't want to hear, and make you face things that you're afraid to do. And the first thing that I realized when I was a kid is that we weren't an advantaged family. We didn't have a lot of money. And in the city where I grew up, there was a corner store everywhere. And having that quarter or having 50 cents for a sundae or playing video games was something that extra change wasn't laying around my home. So I grew up in a busy street, and what I decided to do was start my own business as a kid. So I started a business called Kid Cleaning, and the tagline was, "I'll do anything for money." Well, when my dad found my business cards, he made me go back and retrieve every single one because he thought that tagline was absolutely the wrong message to send to city neighbors. So
you think.
But what happened is I landed some jobs, and it was laundry, watching horrible children, walking dogs, cleaning out trash cans, and I had money and I could spend that money. And it was kind of funny because the neighbors that gave me an opportunity would give me little life lessons along the way of, just be honest and look somebody in the eye when you're talking to them. In high school was a flash. I went to Reading High, and it's a very large school, as everyone knows, and there's 4 middle schools or junior high schools that come together. So you really have to find your way up there. One of the things I found about Reading High is that there's no dominant cliques in that school. So when I always watched those John Hughes movies and kind of saw these alpha cliques. I never understood that concept. But what I did in high school is I went to Votech. And the teacher at the time was this woman trying to survive among 25 teenage girls that just wanted to, all be the teacher's pet. We all wanted Mrs. Steele's attention. And since that didn't work for me, and I was really trying to be the alpha of the classroom, they pulled me out of the classroom to be part of the student council program. And I remember the principal, Mr. Whitmer at that time, he was just, he kind of gave me some life lessons about my bad attitude, or kind of turned me around into a proactive force. Then in my teacher's training, when I went back to school to get my teacher's license, there was a woman that absolutely impressed me because she had just lost her husband, very young. She had 2 small girls, and she was our leader. And to see her, pull herself back up and be the director of a school in charge of staff and in charge of students and in charge of the business itself, she would tell me things about how to be a better woman, how to be a better mother, how to separate myself from my students, because at that time it was the recession, and a lot of the women were 40s and 50 years old, and I was a very young instructor, and the women that were coming to me for the program were highly educated. One of them was a nuclear engineer. Who is that? I mean, I don't have any friends that are nuclear engineers, and some of them were physician's assistants that had lost their job from St. Joseph Hospital. So she really taught me how to be a professional. She taught me how to be an educator. And along that journey within that company, there were so many women that stepped up to point out my shortcomings, which is humiliating. When somebody points out an obvious character trait that you don't realize is kind of a flaw, it hurts your feelings, but I realized that they were telling me that to be proactive, to be better. And being a young mother, and my husband and I, we had each other, there was just wonderful neighbors that embraced us and would tell us, you can't be so nice to your children. The one neighbor would tell me I have to get my chancla. And those of you that know what a chancla is, it's a sandal, would tell me, you need to get them the chancla, and you can't let your children walk all over you. And I embraced that as a woman, because at the time that my husband and I were having children, none of my peers were parents. None of them were having children. They were either in college or they were working, or some of them may have moved away. And that's what I think is amazing. If you allow the teachers in life to step up, you'll learn a valuable lesson. And I've been so grateful that I listened to those people, because it really helped shape me as a woman and as a mother.
Right, and not as many people will be a good listener as they are as giving advice. So when we come back, we're going to talk to Julie. We learned about her motivators, we learned about her mentors, and we're going to find out a little bit more about her journey and how she got to where she is today and why she chose to stay right here in Berks County.